This is Dabu7. We have an incident here where we have 3 different countries experiencing massive blackouts all at the exact same time, and most of these areas not in the best favor of Trump in the United States. Communist Cuba here, seeing a lot of blackouts as of late, but this one is big. And it continues. And I've got 3. You can't really see them all on the screen because everything's blacked out. Panama being another one here, which obviously has been talked about a lot in regards to Trump wanting to take control of the whole thing and take it back from China because he feels it's going to slip into their hands. So Panama, it seems, being targeted here. On the last live show, I talked about how they were drawing up military maneuvers to take Panama back by force, if necessary. Okay? So Cuba, Panama, and now Venezuela. And we know that Venezuela has been at odds with the Trump administration since the last administration, where they tried to go down in there and make all kinds of moves. They sent mercenaries through Colombia up in there, and they tried to get Maduro out of there with Guaido. They tried to put him in there, but it didn't work. The people rejected it. And it seems all 3 of these places at the exact same time, all places that Trump would want to put pressure on, are all in the dark. So massive blackouts here, hitting these areas. No telling how long they'll last. I'll play a small video clip so you can see what's going on there. All in all, people driving around in the dark. Okay, so Panama experiencing the same thing as this guy's explaining, and only the main areas in town that have backup power have power. Again, look here, Venezuela. We have Cuba, Panama, Venezuela here, all in the dark. And this is what's being shared on social media. So, who's behind it? What's behind it? I don't know. One thing's for sure, something's going on when you have 3 countries at odds with Trump all in the dark at the same time. I'd say something's going on. Join me for the live streams Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern, where I'm talking about this and a whole lot more in greater detail. I'll leave links below. Hope to see you guys there. Much love.
Shalom. First and foremost, I'm going to give all praises and glory and honor is due to Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai Bahashim Rakakodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that rule well. Peace and blessings and salutations to the hopeful elect. Noise in this gospel, broad lift and understanding of Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai, wherever it may be. This is another lesson through the Spirit. The times we're living in. Appears that all hell is getting ready to break loose on the planet Earth. As it says, communist Cuba plunges into power blackout hell, which I believe Cuba has been hit with this 4th nationwide blackout in 6 months after a critical failure at the Esmero substation. So this is the 4th blackout they didn't have, but they've been foreshadowing this for quite some time, man, because remember the movie Leave the World Behind? And also, it's a new movie that came out with like a 6-part series on Netflix called Day Zero, when a massive cyber attack hit United States and blackouts and chaos erupted. And as what Dabu was saying, that Cuba and these Central American countries have been pretty much at tandem or with odds with Babylon, man. You know, so this is nothing more but the work of the devil, the so-called white man being a biblical Idumean, which we believe that the American government had something to do with this, because, I mean, it's not, out of the realm of possibility, and it's no low that this society wouldn't go in order to get their way to push people over the edge to harbor resources, man. All right, but this is a foreshadowing as to what's getting ready to come here, because there's been plenty of talks of attacks on Americans' grid through cyber attacks and even EMP strikes, okay, which EMP, which stands for electromagnetic pulse, which will be donated over the skies of America. That will halt all transportations and communication systems pretty much instantaneous. So to work around that, they may just do like particular cyber attacks targeting certain critical infrastructures and certain volatilities that we have in the U.S. grid, because they were already talking about how the U.S. grid is already overloaded and is weakening. Okay, so we got a lot of things coming down the pipe, and shit. There's no end of disasters in sight, as Missouri was under a state of emergency because allegedly 5 tornadoes and touched down, and then you had some fires in Kansas, and then winds and gusts and fires down in Texas and Oklahoma, and it's only March, and we're not even in the thick of spring season or tornado season yet, and literally these things are taking place. So, it's safe to say that the plagues are getting ready to hit, and not only that, we just had what they call a blood moon or a lunar eclipse that hit the skies. What was it? Thursday evening, Friday morning, and then all of a sudden the next day, parts of Missouri from St. Louis to Kansas City literally looked like it was on fire. Not even 24 hours later. So that's a telltale sign. But it says Cuba's ongoing power crisis, plunging more than 10 million people into darkness, serves as a stark reminder of the systemic failures of the repressed communist dictatorship in the Caribbean island, struggling to imploding infrastructure, economic turmoil, and natural disasters. It says around 8:15 p.m., it says a failure at the Dismero substation caused a significant loss of generation of the west of Cuba, which Cuba is in the Caribbean, not Central America, Slovakia. But it says, and with the failure of the national electric system, Cuba's Ministry of Energy and Mines wrote in the post on X late Friday, which I can't read that. I'm not going to even attempt to. But it says, by Saturday morning, Cuba's grid operator, UNE, stated that only 225 megawatts, less than 10% of total demand, was available to supply critical infrastructure, such as hospitals, food centers, water supply systems, leaving much of the island without power. Which another thing, too, is when these systems go down, then you got to worry about 911 going off grid or offline. You got to worry about hospitals, hospice centers, senior citizen facilities, all these particular volatile businesses that harbor sick people. A lot of them will end up succumbing to the plagues because they don't have the pretty much the resources or the help or the power to do what they have to do in order to sustain people. So a lot of times what they don't show you in these movies is that when the grid goes down and the economy collapses or the economic collapse ensues, a lot of times people in these hospitals that's on ventilators, and you're going to have people fresh out of surgery. You know what I'm saying? You're going to have people on operating tables and they're doing open heart surgeries and the power goes out. They're going to have to figure out how to figure that out. You know what I'm saying? Because if not, then, people are just going to die in record numbers. And this is why the scriptures say that the dead should be cast out like dung in the streets, because literally there's going to be dead bodies all over this place. And there's going to be a horrible smell, man, because when bodies rot, that leaves a real unforgettable stench behind. And then that draws in animals and wildlife and particular pestilences. It's going to be bad, man, to the point you're not even going to want to go outside. But it says it's such as hospitals, food centers, and water supply systems, leaving much of the island without power. But it says the UNE didn't provide a timeline on when power generation capacity will return to 100%. But it says, but Cuba's president, Miguel Diaz-Canel Bermudez, wrote on X that government agencies were quickly working to restore power across the island, which a lot of these governors and so forth of these countries, they be set up by Esau. Okay, a lot of them be crypto Amalekites or crypto Jews, and some of them just be basic sellouts, man. I believe like the president of Mexico, I believe he's a small head if I'm not mistaken, But it says most Cubans outside of the capital of Havana have been living under months and months of rolling power blackouts. But in October, November, and December, the island's grid suffered a major blackout, okay? Which goes back to October. It says Cuba paralyzed by a massive power blackout. And then you had a total grid collapse strikes Cuba again, which that's coming here. But it says UNE officials told routers that the latest grid failures originated from an aging transmission line at a substation in Havana, which shorted and triggered a series of failures that ultimately shut down a power generation island-wide. But I read in the comments that they mentioned that BlackRock bought ports in Panama, which I don't know. I haven't heard anything about it, and I haven't came across any particular articles on that matter. But it doesn't surprise me, okay? Because we know BlackRock is responsible for shit, man. They own pretty much every goddamn thing. You know, you got I think it's BlackRock and DuPont, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's BlackRock and it's another one, but they're pretty much the same. They're under the same dictator, or they're under the same ownership, but they're different entities, one and the same. But they're buying up all this property. They're investing hundreds of billions of dollars into these Pentagon contracts, man, and they're buying up all types of shit. I think they said they're responsible for like damn near the whole GDP of California. They make that much money to the point BlackRock owns more GDP and wealth than the state of California itself. So let that sink in. But it says Cuba's long list of problems, rolling blackouts, food, fuel, which all these will cause riots and food shortages and turmoil. It says that medicine shortages and overall chaos plaguing the island serves as a stark reality that America's Democratic Party conveniently ignores when discussing the actual consequences of communism. All right, and this is just a couple of videos here of these blackouts, which this is on X. And that's completely terrifying because, see, what happens if months and months of that continue? Food goes bad, people start invading one another, grape comes back, you know, pestilence, all types of shit, you know. So that's just one disaster after the next. And eventually, if that goes on long enough, people will start resorting to rioting and looting because food is going bad. Let alone, you know, the sanitation systems. Like here in America, you have sanitation systems that is being backed up through particular pumps through these landfill or these city sites or these city dumps, and it's operated on this big computer. So what happens when the power goes out and you come to flush your toilet? After a while, you're not going to be able to flush the toilet, and all that shit that's being pumped through the sewer system is going to back right back up into your crib, man. So it ain't going to just be just a regular blackout and you in the dark. No, there's going to be blackouts. It's going to be dead people. All right, it's going to be all types of chaos, man. All right, so it ain't gonna be pretty. Beat this video here. Wow. It says Cuba is plunging into darkness. Total blackouts. Cubans forced to cook with charcoal as energy crisis deepen. And then on top of that, we're under energy crisis because I believe Trump put 25% tariffs on Canada, which is gonna affect hundreds of millions of people in America, man, because energy is already high here. So yeah, this shit getting ready to go down, man. All right, but anyway, this is the book of 2 Andrew 7, and I'm gonna start not 2 Andrew, Ezekiel 7, and I'm gonna start at 1. And it says, moreover, the word of Yahweh came unto me, saying, thou son of man, thus says the Lord Yahweh unto the land of Israel, because we know that the Cubans are Israelites. All right, you have Manasseh down there, you have Ephraim, you got Judah down there. Hell, you got tribes down there. You got Levi down there. But we know that the Cubans are the tribe of Manasseh. And it says here, and the end is come upon the four corners of the land. It says, now is the end come upon thee, and I will send my anger upon thee, and I will judge thee according to thy ways, and will recompense upon thee all thy abominations. So overall, the Heavenly Father is sending judgment on the planet Earth. And the crazy part about it is we're still in the Passover, or the Feast of Unleavened Bread. And our people, they're not partaking in a high holy day, man. Okay, they're committing all types of wickedness, treason against the Most High, you know, all types of abominations, bowing down to Caesar or Cesare, you know, that sweet Jeebas, as we like to call them. They're not paying attention to the will of the Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, man. And we said it. We said during the Passover and after the Passover, things were gonna take a turn for the worse. And I can literally see through the spirit that once Passover is over, once this Feast of Unleavened Bread ends, things are gonna intensify, man. And hey, this summer, hey, it's gonna be it's gonna be a crazy ass summer, man. All right, because people are broke, they're losing money. You know, the economy is getting bad, man. Mass layoffs, teachers are being laid off in mass numbers. People are going to be on demon time. But it says, and my eyes shall not spare thee, neither will I have pity, but I will recompense thy ways upon thee, and thy abomination should be in the midst of thee, and ye should know that I am the Lord Yahweh, all right? And this is what we're saying, okay? Because like I said, you Israelites, especially you northern kingdom, you're not coming back to Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, okay? You got brothers all around Babylon the Great. You got, I don't think we have a camp down there, but nonetheless, man, you have access to internet. Okay, you've seen the Israelite videos, all right, and you've seen Northern Kingdom brothers in the camp bringing it out in your language. So there's no excuse, man. Okay, so there's no excuse. Well, there were no prophets down here. Well, you have the internet. Okay, there go your prophets right there. That's why the Lord is so cold-blooded, man, when it comes to judgment, because he don't give you the excuse to make the excuse to get out of your folly. All right, but it says here, going down to verses 5, it says, thus says the Lord Yahweh, and evil and only evil is become. And the end is come, and the end is come. It watcheth for thee, behold, it is come. All right, so the scriptures emphasize that we're at the end. Okay, and all hell is getting ready to break loose. Okay, this dude, Trump, literally France is asking for the Statue of Liberty back. Okay, we know that the Statue of Liberty was adopted to America through the French Masons. Okay, and it was given to him, basically. But what we're saying is that the whore and the beast, they're breaking up. Okay, we're seeing them hate the whore. And this dude, Trump, he haven't even been in office 3 months yet. And he's already creating all types of tensions around the world. Okay, that other nations hate him. His own partners hate him now. They like, man, this dude is out of his damn mind. You know, which Revelation 17 and 15 is getting ready to come into full effect. So prophecy is steamrolling ahead, man. We ain't got that long. But it says here, the morning is coming to thee, O thou that dwellest in the land, and the time is come, and the day of trouble is near, and not the sounding again of the mountains. But now will I surely pour out my fury upon thee, and accomplish my anger upon thee, and I will judge thee according to thy ways, and will recompense thee for all thy abomination. And my eyes shall not spare, neither will I have pity, but I will recompense thee according to thy ways and thy abominations that are in the midst of thee, and ye shall know that I am the Lord that smiteth. So the Most High is taking away provisions. Okay, and one thing about it, power is very essential into this modern day age, because everything is ran on power. Computers, a grid. You know, versus back during the time of the Amish time, the 1800s, the 1700s, you didn't really have street lamps, man. Okay, you had what they call cisterns, and you had what they call those particular vessels, those oil lamps. You know, so if you're traveling, you have your lamp, your oil lamp. You know, they didn't have street lights. You know, we didn't have electric power stoves. You know, if you had a stove, you had to go fetch some wood. You know what I'm saying? Chop the wood up and make sure you had the kerosene to light the stove up and keep it at a certain temperature. Okay, the stove wasn't invented until the electric stove. Matter of fact, let me do this. I don't want to butcher it. I'm gonna look it up. When was the electric stove invented? What it says. The electric stove invented. 1896. It says the first patent for an electric stove was granted to William S. Hardaway Jr., which was issued June 30th, 1896. Okay, which I guarantee you Jake invented it, but they stole the patent, you know? But it says 1896, 1890, 1882. Canadian inventor Thomas Hearns credited with inventing the first electric oven in 1882 and used it to cook a meal in Oliver Hotel in 1892. Early adoption of electric stoves were initially limited to wired-up cities, but gained population with the rural electrification projects of the 1930s and 40s. So now you got the modern-day electric stove now. You know, because I remember when we grew up, our stove was ran off gas. You know, we had a gas line that plugged into the wall, and then, of course, you got meters. You know, which today, Esau is really the devil, because a lot of these apartments are pretty much electric, but they still have gas hookups, which allows them to charge you 2 different bills. You know what I'm saying? Because heat or electricity, stove, all that can be ran through electricity now. But they still have gas meters on these older buildings because that way they're able to tax you on it, man. You know? But it reads here, and it says, and my eyes shall not spare, neither would I have pity, but I will recompense thee according to thy ways and thy abominations that are in the midst of thee, and ye should know that I am the Lord. But behold, behold, it is come, and the morning is gone forth, and the rod have blossomed, pride have budded. Yeah, because this world is extremely proud and entitled. Okay, but now you're starting to see a shift in people's paradigm because people are realizing, wait a minute, we're getting ready to be without. And this is why you have all these Edomites going to TikTok crying and trying to team up with Jake and all this other shit, because now they're on the opposing end of affliction. Versus when we was the one that was getting beat down, which we still are. But when we was catching hell, hey, nobody came to our aid. You know? Oh, you niggas got the same opportunity everybody else. Nobody came to aid Jake. Now all of a sudden when Esau was catching hell, the whole world has to stop and attend to him. No, that ain't how that work, bro. But it says, violence has risen up unto a rod of wickedness, and none of them shall remain, nor of their multitude, nor any of theirs, neither shall there be willing from them. But the time is come, and the day draweth near. Let not the buyer rejoice, nor the seller mourn, for wrath is upon all the multitude thereof. For the seller shall not return to that which is sold, although they were yet alive. And for the vision is touching the whole multitude thereof, which should not return, neither shall any strengthen himself in the iniquity of his life, right? So this is just a small taste of it. It's getting ready to hit here in Babylon, because once this hit in Babylon and people lose their money, you know, with money or not, when you can't get your money out the banks, and you know, you can't go to your national ballparks and do your folly, and you can't go to your clubs and drink anymore. And once the food is halted and the trucks are not coming into these cities, these people are going to lose it. Because I always say that the American people thrive themselves off three things: bread and circuses, which is two things: bread, which is food; circuses, which is entertainment; and also money. Okay, which the jobs, the livelihoods, the homes, the vehicles, all that is going to come to a abrupt halt. All right. This is the book of 2 Esdras 9, and I'm gonna start at verses. Let's start at verses 4. It says, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. For like all that is made in the world have a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest. Even so, the times also of the highest have plain beginnings and wonders and powerful works and endings and effects and signs. And this is nothing more but a sign. Okay? And more signs, like we had a blood moon Friday morning, or according to Esau, Friday morning. Okay? Which was pretty much Passover. Past the evening of Passover, okay, which the Passover came in Thursday evening, but Esau tells time from 12 a.m. to 12 a.m., which he considered another day. But the scriptures consider a day when the evening starts, okay? So when Passover kicked in, what was it, roughly 7:30 Thursday evening, that marks the beginning of the day, you know, into the next period. So you could say that took place Passover evening, a blood moon. You know, and shit just been going crazy. But it says, even so the times also of the highest have plain beginnings and wonderful and powerful works, endings and effects and signs, the blood moon, and everyone that should be saved and should be able to escape by his works and faith, whereby ye have believed, should be said, or should be preserved from the said perils, and shall see my salvation in my land and within my borders. For I've sanctified them for me from the beginning. So, hey, brothers, when this shit hit America, because they're going to do a lot of things prior to them passing a chip, okay, and making the chip mandatory. Me personally, I just believe, and you know, this is just my personal opinion, I believe that the blackouts and the riots and the chaos is all going to come before the chip, because that's the way that they can promote the chip. They can say, well, look, we have a solution, we have a fix, everybody gets the chip. And once they opt in to get the chip, then they will start trying to integrate people back in society, but you're going to have pockets of people that's just not going to be fitting for it. So you're going to still have insurrections on governments. So don't get it twisted. At the time of the chip, things ain't going to be 100% normal. Okay, people going to still be literally rioting and burning shit down and going back and forth with the military and the particular militias on the streets of America. Okay, because people are not going to want to get that chip, because some people just know what it is. And then on top of that, a witch hunt for the men of the Most High. Okay. So at that time, we won't be on the internet no more. We literally probably got months. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just speaking as a man, but we probably have less than years before we get off this damn internet, man. Okay, I don't see us going out there speaking too much longer, man, because like I said, things are getting ready to take a turn. And in the midst of a blackout, the grid goes down, say for a couple of weeks, and chaos or riots, shit kicks off, martial law is deployed. We're not gonna be on the streets speaking to you people, man. Okay, we're speaking to you now. So once the Most High gets us out the way and hangs us up, so to speak, and get us away, that's when all hell gonna start really breaking loose, and that's when the mercy is gonna be over. Okay, the Lord ain't gonna have mercy on a lot of people because the prophet's been warning you, man. All right. But anyway, with that, all praises and glory and honor that is due to Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. Lord's will, you are edified. To the next lesson. Shalom.